Dave Woods.
Well, they'll need to show a response, won't they? The Welsh, there goes that siren again in the background, just reassuring us it all is still working. How good is this Welsh response going to be at the start of this second half? 3 tries in the 9 minutes before the break scored by the French really has put them in a preeminent position here. And Thomas Bosk finding his form, finding his rhythm in that last 10-15 minutes or so as well, with the boot, with the hands, with the running, with the direction he's given his side. And Wales got off to a very bright start in the first half with that try for David James. I think it's fair to say, Brian Noble, we haven't seen them trouble the French line too often since then. That's something they're going to have to do as soon as possible.
They did start the game and look well structured, and when they had some time and some patience, the French then started to bend their backs and they started to belt each other with all due respect. But the French have found that last 15 minutes the quality to get the ball, and when they've got that kind of momentum, Wales didn't touch it, so it's difficult to do anything about it. So they need to respect the ball a little bit more this second half, the Welsh, and try and kick a little bit better and chase down, then trying to force the French into some errors and get some field position that way.
Well, the kick for Seamark hit the head of the advancing French player. Accidental offside it's been given as it was picked up ahead, and well, is that accidental offside not a scrum down? Oh, it's a 6 tackle, isn't it? So that's why it hit the head of the Welsh player ahead of him, accidental offside. Indeed. So a handover. So happy to report Richard Silverwood knows the rules, and finally we've got that too.
Great start for the Welsh in relation to their last play. I think they can concentrate on that and get themselves some help, but I think the French will certainly be looking to finish this game off early in the second half, look to get over again and have a score.
Well, that was untidy from Pélissier. He's knocked on as he tried to pick it up from behind the play the ball, so that advantage given to the French has been given away, played forward in fact, by Vincent Duport.
I thought that would be a penalty, wouldn't it? Play it forward to yourself.
We're doing some questioning of this referee already, aren't we?
Why not? Put him under pressure, that's what I say.
It's very much an autumn of international anticipation in rugby league, isn't it? This game here today, and then of course the Wales-England game next week in Wrexham. A week later, England play France at Hull at Craven Park on the 3rd of November, and then the final of this Tri-Nations tournament in Salford on Sunday, the 11th of November. You can see all those matches right here on the BBC. But it's very much, as we heard at half-time from Steve McNamara and Earl Crabtree, it's all about next year's World Cup, getting things in place ahead of that World Cup next year. And not the least of those considerations, venues. This will be a World Cup venue next year. Lens, as we've mentioned several times, it is virginal rugby league territory here. It's not really a stronghold for rugby league, so therefore it's not a bad crowd here that's turned up. It's a decent kick. Look at the bounce there.
Well, it was either play on there or a penalty, because he took the catcher out, the Welsh defence, and so the French start the second half, and probably where the Welsh would probably like to keep them. But that's their challenge. They've got to front load a bit of their energy and try and restrict the French in there. And on last plays, if they can find some kick pressure on Bosk, if it happens to be Bosk or Pélissier out dummy half, it just may well disrupt the French rhythm.
Here's Leroyer. Running in hard enough on the 4th. There was no disguising his intent there, was there? Just to put his head down and punch in if he can. Thierry along the line. Again, the French are looking to expand here and looking to find the Welsh a little weak on the outskirts. And well, the overlap there was on, but there was nobody to catch the ball. That was simply the problem there from the pass from Vincent Duport. His winger, Matthias Palla, had run on his inside.
Yeah, Matthias Palla's nowhere. And Vincent Duport, he was there a minute ago, and there he's gone. And you were there a second ago, and he'd done quite a good job as a centre, hadn't he? He'd attracted the winger in, and he'd got on the outside, and had he been there, I'm confident it was a straight score. He just didn't communicate well enough.
Your heart must sink when you see that the touch judge has got the only chance of catching the ball on your outside. But Wales again getting head and feed at this scrum, and once again needing to take some advantage if they can, trailing as they do by 18 points to 6. Still plenty of time to play, a good 30-odd minutes of this second half remaining, but they need to get themselves up. Here's Ben Evans, who's pushed backwards, offloads it well enough to Seamark in the end, but again a mark of the muscularity amongst those French forwards.
Yeah, the signs from the French are that they're going to be prepared to do the tough stuff as well without the ball.
It's Flower.
Go, third.
Neil Budworth, the dummy half. It's on to Dan Fleming, who scoops away to Danny Jones. The Keithley standoff, and David James is the man waiting out back. Looks to take them on the fringes, but Vincent Duport in no-nonsense mood to make the tackle. This is Massa. Here's Danny Jones. See Mark. Oh, a little bit of a run around that almost came off, but has landed in French hands again.
Zero tackle on the error from the Welsh.
Grabbed by Ben Evans. He's helped out by Jordan James.
Move! Back with me.
A direct approach employed with that drive. Here comes another big hit forward, this time by Remy Casti, who maybe has a better build for that kind of business.
When they keep coming, the French, and because of this size and the energy it takes, and Boss with the great play.
Good hands by Duport, and Parler with a little bit of width now. Pass Royce, passed as well, but he's sparing attempts of Danny Jones. Can't get the pass away, thumps the ground in utter frustration, because he knew there was a chance on there. And a warm appreciation shown by the home supporters who enjoyed that little moment of flair and enterprise.
It was a great break from Parler, wasn't it? From a great ball from Duport. Oliver Ellimer just couldn't quite drag the ball in, could he? He saw glory there, he saw the whitewash, and a bit similar start to the first half, you know, that middle where the French were creating opportunities and not executing those opportunities, and you sense that the fingernails are out from the Welsh, you know, they're just hanging on a little bit in certain parts of the game.
Well, if they can hang on, and we've seen it so many times, haven't we? It only takes one moment of magic to turn the whole momentum of a game on its head. So if the Welsh can keep hanging on here and maybe from somewhere produce the break that lifts their spirits, then who knows? But just at the moment, you'd make the French heavy favourites to carry on and win this game, and possibly by a distance. Here's Budworth. On again towards Kopchak. No disguising that move either. Kopchak to his feet. Budworth once more. Jones. Fullback is David James. That's the fifth. They find themselves just inside French territory. Budworth to Jones. It's a little slow and laboured, so he has to run and find room to get the kick away. Well, Cyril Stackles there with the catch.
That's a good defensive set from the French, and you have to say that I didn't see many shortcuts from them, so they look to be doing the tough stuff as well, the French, which is not great news for the Welsh, but they've just got to hang in there, like you say, Dave, and hope that the French come up with a mistake to give them some field position. But they certainly are still bending the backs, the French team, and as flamboyant as we're seeing them to be, they want to be expansive, they want to entertain this crowd, and well, that just might give Wales a chance if they can stick with the game, stay with the game, get into this arm wrestle that we're seeing at the moment.
To his feet gathers Parler. On they gallop. Welsh line remains intact. Oh, it's a bit of a coming together off your screen there between Flower and one of the French players. I think it was Battieri who came together. Oh, and that was a late tackle, and now they're off. The French director takes us one end, but all the action's here. Look at this. The fists are flying. Gil Dodson in amongst it, and they're coming from all areas now to have a punch or two, and that's the reason why. Well, a few grins on a few faces suggest they enjoy that little moment.
Well, it's woken everybody up in the stadium for sure, and you know, he's late. He's certainly late on his Dodson, but he might be making a bit of an Oscar performance from Bartu. It clips him under the chin. I hope he's okay, but I think there's an element of him playing for the penalty there, but that incenses the French players, and as with these things, you want to protect your players, and I think Gil Dodson and Battieri get into each other, and Ben Flower's not frightened to be throwing a few there, is he? And yeah, Battieri and Dodson are the main attraction on the heavyweight contest in the middle there. A couple of good right crosses, but it's all over now, and I'm sure it's Bartu that's down, isn't it? Yeah.
I think this is the moment when the commentator is supposed to say we don't like to see that kind of thing on a rugby league field, but I think secretly it's okay every once in a while, isn't it? As long as
nobody likes to see, absolutely nobody wants to see foul play. It's ridiculous, and that's a penalty.
Not that aspect.
Yeah, that's a penalty every day of the week, and I'm not sure it's the most the latest of late tackles, but he certainly could have pulled out there. I think Gil Dudson, yeah, he's late, and he's raised his forearms and he catches him just on the top part of his chest. He may have some.
Well, after the fun, here comes the retribution. Richard Silverwood calling together his two touch judges. Tim Roby there you see on the left, sporting a rather elegant moustache these days, and just beside him Jose Pereira, the French touch judge.
Well, the good news is Bartou's all right, and I think he's played for the penalty, and then the other blokes, Ben Flowers getting into Gregory Muniz, and it is a bit, somebody's going here.
Well, here we go. It's either Muniz or Flower is going, as I've just heard the referee say 13.
He's got the wrong bloke there.
No, not you, son. You've got the wrong number on your back. You go away. You're okay. Right.
His mum will have been playing.
Are you number 8, he's saying? Are you? Yep, you're off.
You know what? He's asked him what for as well. I think there are 10,000 people and 2 commentators that I think we've got a fair clue what for, Gil. Get off the field. You were late. It was a late challenge. I think they made the right decision with saberiness on the.
Might not be the end of it. Gregory Muniz is off as well here.
Yeah. I think it was Gregory Muniz that ran in on whilst Bateri took up the batting. I think it was Muniz that ran in to show his objection to Gil Dudson. And it is late, and it is a penalty, so I'm sure he'll be reminded what for by his coach, Justin Harris.
Well, they both dropped to 12 aside for the next 10 minutes. Wales denied Gil Dudson, the French denied Gregory Muniz. The penalty is given where the ball hit the deck. And Thomas Bosk, I think, has taken a sensible option here, which is to add the 2. It works tactically, doesn't it? Because it means suddenly there's a 3-score difference, but it also works in terms of just calming things down a little as well.
Yeah, it takes the steam out of all the players, doesn't it? Then they'll go off to kick off. But if you're in the Welsh team now, Craig Kopchak, the captain, will be saying, well, let's go back to some principles here. Let's try and kick the ball really deep here and restrict the French in their territory and get back into that game and not be distracted. I'm not sure that the distraction helps the Welsh in any way.
So here comes Bosk with the penalty kick, and a big roar from a French fan base that is warming to this game of rugby league. They're enjoying what they're seeing right now, especially because their local heroes are doing what was expected. Leading by 20 points to 6 with 11 minutes of the second half played. We mentioned earlier, this is a football stadium. Racing Lens, who these days are in the 2nd division of the French Football League. They have been relatively recently involved in Champions League football. Manchester United played here not that long ago. I remember watching Ryan Giggs scoring a rather cheeky goal here from a quickly taken free kick. So there is a little bit of French inspiration to be, a rather Welsh inspiration to maybe drawn from that, but French at the moment very much on top. Oh, that's a big hit followed by Remy Castille, who still went on.
Don't you just love rugby league? That Pelissier takes advantage of it. Oh, that's a penalty as well. High tackle from Craig Kopchak, just what the Welsh didn't need. You know, you get truck and trailer, the horse and cart. I don't know what you call it. Castille first going boom, and Seamark thinks, see you later. Then he gets rid of Budworth as well around the top and keeps his legs pumping and gets down and importantly gets a quick play the ball for Pelissier to take advantage of it next play, which elicits the penalty out of Wales and gives them this good field position.
Oh, very nearly dropped as well. Nice Seb Ragan, who did well. Basic rules of rugby league, you can hurt a man as much as you like as long as it's shoulder to shoulder. Go above the shoulder and you find yourself in trouble. And if you drop the ball, equally, you find yourself in trouble with your teammates, because a very good position here for the French has been coughed up, and the Welsh have a chance here for a bit of relief to at least put their hands on their ball.
Well, he dropped it cold. I'm being conservative a little bit though. Get yourself into the game, find a decent kicking game. They're 3 scores now, so at some stage they're going to have to pull the pin on the way they're playing. They're going to have to be a bit more expansive, or they're going to have to find a couple of short kicks or some way to manufacture a way back into this game. But with 27 minutes to go, I don't think it's panic stations quite yet.
Christian Reutz, South African by birth. He came to Wales, or went to Wales, as an adventure. Found himself playing rugby league, and now he's playing for the Welsh National Rugby League side, the land of his grandparent. Oh, the offload attempted by Flower has been given away.
Well, they're just defending too well. That's a poor decision from Ben Flower. I don't criticise the fact that he's trying to offload. I put him the criticism he stems around that there were 3 French jumpers around him there, which increased the possibility of him being picked off, which he was.
11,628 in here today. Most of those hoping for a French victory. And most of those enjoying the position they see their side in at the moment. Eloi Pelissier from dummy half. It's Battieri behind the line. It goes. Barteau drops it short, and Dupont is just going to be denied, but only just. Some desperate defending again, and still required. France go knocking on this Welsh door once more.
They go left or they're coming right.
And the little grubber kick is attempted by Pelissier.
Element of selfishness there, I think, from Pelissier, because if they'd have gone left, they had the numbers, Dave. There were more numbers, more French players. What we're suggesting there, more French players than red jumpers to defend them. That's a great carry.
That's a terrific effort, doesn't it? Gives them a few yards, but also lifts the spirit of their teammates as well there, Rob Massam. They get a penalty.
Well done, Wales. Well done, Wales. Rob Massam creates the opportunity which diffuses the French energy in defence and keeps a couple of them offside in and around the ruck, and now they've got some field position, the Welsh.
They need to start doing something with it, though, don't they? 15 minutes of the second half played.
Yep, they need to score.
Their only points so far, that try in the second minute from David James. What whooping and celebrating that produced, but not much since. Oh, and it's dropped by Danny Jones, who will be furious with himself.
It's hard to countenance things like that, isn't it? You get yourself back with a penalty and you establish a little bit of field position and you drop one cold. It's not great skill. I think the French have looked strong, probably stronger defensively the second half, Dave, than they have with the ball. They've had a few errors, I think 4 or 5 times, and I think he's offside.
Danny Jones was looking to get a few points back.
They're just getting a little bit loose now, the Welsh, aren't they? The youth in their team, and you know, they're just coming up with a couple of things that are making this game a whole lot tougher than it normally is. So they just got to retain that element of discipline that you need, because the team in white are too good. They're just being let off the hook, Wales, with elements of poor skill from the French at the wrong time.
Animal to his feet. Gigot, that from dummy half. It's taken on by Battieri, who's still carrying it strongly enough. Parisian-born, Australian-raised Battieri. Here's Bosc. Little dummy by Bosc. The elegance and the reach. Not quite far enough.
Did they stop him?
Desperate Welsh defence.
Well done.
But as we've said before, more required. The French are in the mood just at the moment. Stacoul with a step. Can't find a way through, so offers it to Barteau, who offers it on again in turn to Casti. He's knocked on. He's knocked on.
And the break from Bosc was sublime, wasn't it? Because if he'd have passed the ball, I'm sure they were in. And I think he felt the commitment and the responsibility then once he'd done the show and go, as Earl pointed out earlier in commentary in the studio. But this is the error from Casti. He's trying to offload the ball, and what the referee's saying there is that it's come off a Welsh person, so in essence that's a knock-on. He tries to offload the ball.
Well, there's a lot of shouting going on by Jason Battieri in the midst of it all.
He's played tough today, hasn't he, Battieri?
Packing down at 9 at the moment, and he really was bellowing at his teammates to lift themselves in defence here. Although they haven't got the ball, their aim is to limit Wales' yardage to the absolute minimum. And out they come, and a big hit, and Battieri showing the example that he was shouting for.
Ouch. I tell you what, I like that. Backed himself, gave everybody else a spray. And he's inspired Elimer and Battieri. They're on a mission to keep Wales to a minimum metre.
Well, they've given the penalty away because such was their urgency there. They got off the line before the ball was played. And so the penalty goes Wales' way. And David James, you can't see him at the moment, but in back play, is still being treated for that earlier Battieri tackle, which was fair enough, but it rattled his cage.
Well, they're just physically on top here at the moment, the French. And again, this penalty, they need to use the ball a little bit more wisely, the Welsh, than they did the last time. See what they can come up with. And you're quite right, Dave, with 22 minutes, they desperately need to score, the Welsh.
Well, there's Rhys Pugsley, who's on the field for his Welsh debut today, and it's a big day as well for the young Wigan Academy player. It's his 18th birthday. So he comes of age, winning his first Welsh cap.
Move! Back, back, back. Oh, go, third.
He's coming left again. Watch out for the number 16. It's well, he's gone as a dummy runner, in fact, and Welsh running around him. Jordan James desperately trying to keep it in play, failing to do so. I think supporters Welsh to get on their feet again here. There you see him, the number 16 in the Wales shirt, Rhys Pugsley, 18 years old today. And we're back to 13 aside as well. Gil Dudson and Gregory Muniz both returning from the sin bin. So not much happened since they left the field.
Wait, go.
It was Parler. Again. Gregory Muniz' first involvement since his return from that sin bin, with a carry out wide. Casti on the 5th, so here comes the last. Casti hurried along. Well, on the last, they are going to run it here, looking to rip apart. And this Welsh defence. Duport tried something extravagant, having gone down in the tackle, and it's Wales who get possession back again here.
Well, he was expansive because it had to be. Duport probably should have manufactured a kick down the sideline there once he decided to run it out. And it was Parler was behind him again, wasn't he? And he didn't know where he was. And Wales handled it well in the end, but the opportunity was created because that element of kick pressure around the ruck from the Welsh had decided to have a punt at the kicker, which that time was Bartu and Bosk, and it ended up with Duport. But you have to say that the French, and we've mentioned this before already, that they're looking strong physically, aren't they?
Here's Budworth. Jordan James. One-time Royal Marine, of course, Jordan James. Budworth again. Jones to Seamark, who's caught, I think there by Kevin Leroy, so it will be a penalty for Wales. So a chance to build here. Never really any temptation to go for goal here. They want to stick it into touch and try and run it another 6 tackles.
Definitely.
High time we heard from back in England. Earl Crabtree is watching in our studio in Salford. Earl, what have you made of this second half?
Yeah, it's an interesting start to the second half. A little bit disappointing, if I'm being honest. The structure seems to have gone out of Wales a little bit, and I think that's probably down to a bit of fatigue. And the French, though, still physical, and I think that's the difference at the moment, is the physicality from the French, and also they seem to be just a little bit more organised in good ball.
Well, the Welsh looking to prosper here. Royce with a little flick that had an element of luck attached to it, and Rob Masson did well to keep a hold. Pugsley is the man at dummy half who plays it on to Danny Jones, who's grabbed up by a couple of defenders. Really key moments here for the Welsh. 17 minutes to play. If they are going to get anything out of this game, now is the time they have to strike. Here's Pugsley again. This is Budworth. waiting patiently, collects, looks up for his runners. On to Danny Jones. Away it goes to Seamark. Seamark with a kick to the corner. Well covered by Subeiras on that far side, but he does concede a dropout, and the Welsh pressure is just beginning to grow a little here, Brian Noble.
Lovely last play, lovely last kick from Seamark. His kicking game's been pretty good in this part of the field, hasn't it? They've pretty much got a result every time he's touched the ball on his foot. Jones to Seamark, and he's just trying to catch Subeiras out of position, but he manages to scramble back and bat the ball out. And 6 more plays, though, for the Welsh. Just what they needed.
So here comes the dropout. This is a chance for Wales to try and lift themselves again. Dutson with a drive in. 5 from here, 30 metres out. Kopchak. Budworth. James. Jordan James with a seeking run. Budworth bends his back. Down the middle they take it again. Jones to Seamark. Little step again by Moss. Moss is grabbed at again by French hands and pulled down. But Wales applying the pressure here. Can they make something of it? Seamark again. Now Jones. Jones spins it along. Jordan James. I think the Welsh supporters are finding their voice in this ground as well here just at the moment. They sense it's a big moment. It's been given away. Oliver Ellimer picks it up. France pick it up. And France escape.
Well, that was a bit slightly high from Craig Kopchak. They do look stronger this second half, and I take up on Earl's point from the studio there, and I think we've been mentioning it, that physically they look dominant, the French, this second half, and that's shown itself in their defence, on their goal line defence there, the ability to control the ball and then carrying the ball, they're creating themselves lots of opportunities, aren't they?
Well, it's such a key game to win this, isn't it, for either side, given that England, sparing Steve McNamara's blushes back in our studio, but England are the very, very heavy favourites to make the final and win this little mini tournament this season. And key also from a Welsh point of view, because having given their all here today, they then have to play England next week. There's no rest for them, whereas the French do have the luxury of a week off before they travel to Hull for the game at Craven Park the week after.
I'm not sure that disadvantages the Welsh in any way. They'll benefit from this hit out as long as they don't pick up too many injuries and they're not too bumped and bruised. They should be in better shape for next week. I think England have the task to get up to speed there.
Referee putting his finger in his hair here. He's looking to see if he can get some kind of interpretation from the sidelines. I think he's gone with his original instinct, which is to give head and feet here to the French. And you have to say the experiment of bringing here to Lens has been a successful one, hasn't it?
Oh, it's a terrific
Qualified
stadium.
Success.
Good crowd. Enjoying it.
It is so far away from the heartlands. I know a lot of French rugby league fans were complaining about the decision to bring it here because it was so difficult for them to get here. I think you spotted and was indeed chatting to one Catalan supporter earlier today, which is...
I was. I'm not sure he
defies
understood
the laws of language.
His English was better than my French, for sure.
The majority in here are locals who have no access on a weekly basis to rugby league, have come here out of interest. They started quietly, watching on with interest, but they've joined in with the emotion of things as the match has gone on. As well as being shown live across the UK on the BBC, it's also being shown live on a French sports channel as well here today. So, national recognition for the game too. French looking to prosper again here. Here's Bosque once more. Dupont puts a little kick to the in-goal area. James has to scramble back, and again it's a no-win situation. Craig Moss, in fact, the Keighley fullback, is the man who's back there.
Well, the defence is that good this second half. Parler's decided to tackle a camera. Great kick from Dupont. He should have done that earlier. And I think it's Moss that's on the field now, and there goes, boom. It's a great tackle from Parler on the camera.
It's about £6 worth of technology that was hit by a very physical shoulder there, wasn't it? Here we go. Whoa.
Legs tackle.
Cameraman kept cool though, didn't he?
Back on.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Big mistake from Sabrogan. And a lift for Wales, because they should have been facing 6 tackles to defend. Instead, they should, from this scrum, get possession back their way.
Matt, don't be twisting the leg.
Just takes a kick right at the end, but he surely needed to do better than that. And again, he takes the momentum out of the French attack, and it's been disjointed, their attack this second half, because they've probably not looked after the ball similar to the first half. But you have to say that this side of the fence, this second half, they've looked very strong physically, haven't they?
Here's Royce.
Oof. It's still coming forward, that's Muniz. Their line speed's very good.
James. Well, they're building a decent momentum here in this set. The Welsh, they're already deep inside their opponent's half.
Well, they managed to find some ruck speed. By that, they won the battle on the floor. They actually got off the ground quicker than the French defenders, which gives Budworth the opportunity to jump, to create space in and around the ruck and opportunities.
So here comes the last. It's posted high by Seamark. It's challenged for well, but will go the French way. The ball having gone backwards, according to referee Richard Silverwood.
You've got to say that the Welsh themselves have defended pretty well, haven't they?
Here comes Casti. Rami Casti.
Move! Square up, Jordan. Go.
Bosk again, just that little dummied pass which created a bit of an opportunity. Wide it goes eventually to Parler. Just drew the Welsh defence enough to maybe give a hint of an overlap just for an instant there to Parler. In the end, he has to come back on the inside. But the quality of Bosk again in play. The kick downfield from dummy half by Gigot. Collected by Moss to run it back. And Lee Briers is on the pitch at the moment in his role as water carrier. Sure, they'd rather he put a red shirt on and maybe start acting as the general on the field. Ben Evans.
Good. Move!
Seamark. Budworth does well. Jones. Reutz. Well met by Matthias Parler, but Reutz doing very well to bulldoze his way through.
I bet he wished he hadn't found Casti.
It was the booby prize at the end of it, wasn't it? Here's Jones again. Jordan James, quick hands from the prop forward. Seamark. Real way to go here, but he's found a half a gap with his tricky footwork. And James is showing really enthusiasm. He's getting really involved here, Jordan James, isn't he? As you'd expect. Here comes a sixth. Jones again just dribbles it into the in-goal area. There might have been a bit of an obstruction on Robbie Lloyd.
Just disappointed. Welsh to create the opportunity, but again, that final kick is 10 metres too long. You know, Seamark's been the go-to man in that part of the field for him. He's pretty nailed every kick, and the two we've seen from Danny Jones probably 10, 12 metres too big.
They like a replay, don't they?
Yeah, it's too big. There's no pressure on the French there. They can let the ball roll out and gives them a free 20 metres.
Here comes Anthony Moria, former Toulouse man. He's making his breakthrough at Catalan. He made his debut against Castleford back in September, off the bench. Anthony Moria, so I'm sure he's a player we'll be seeing more of in future years. Here's Matthew Griffey. Gigot.
Great kick. See what tackle it was on. It's a good kick. See what the chase is like.
Moss has been on the field since David James had to go off, having suffered that injury with a clattering tackle from Jason Battieri. 7.5 minutes left to play. There's Keir. Remarkable story this week from Elliot Keir, that he was in the same school, the same class at Whitchurch High School in Cardiff as Gareth Bale. And Sam Warburton, the Welsh Rugby Union player, so that's some pedigree, sporting pedigree, isn't it? The same year producing 3 international players. This is good play, and Keir very nearly got at the end of it as well. Just when he'd had the bill in. Oh, and now...
Off again.
Well, Arroyo came in. Keir is maybe punching above his weight there, taking on 4 of them by himself. Reinforcements are arriving quickly.
Well, I think the Welsh initially took an objection to... Is it Jordan James got put on his backside, and I had a quiet word with Elliot Keir after the game and say, yeah, you're outnumbered there. But I think it's the incident before where I think Jordan James is on the floor. As he passed the ball, I think one of the Frenchmen took him off, and Elliot Keir didn't like that, and so threw the ball at him, and Leroy has had to throw a ball back and pushing and shoving, and so just the initial play, I think, upset Elliot Keir that on Jordan James, who's still down in the backfield.
Well, there's some concern here for Jordan James, because we're not seeing this at the moment, but he's on the pitch inside his own half, and he's still having some treatment, and he looked to be riding around as though he was in a good deal of pain. Well, there he is. It's a little more settled now, but a short time ago he was writhing around as though he was in a great deal of discomfort.
He's brought out Kevin Leroy.
Well, I don't think the referee's going to restart this game while James is getting treated. He's getting a bit of oxygen there as well, as you can see.
We just can't...
Well, we just missed it there, didn't we? I think he was already on the ground. It was the Keir incident.
I think Elliot was cheesed off because he got pushed in the back and he hadn't collected the ball in, so he's...
Well,
Jordan
thankfully...
James looks to be coming around a little bit here, doesn't he?
Thankfully, he's sitting up. We've seen some testimony to how tough rugby league players are in recent weeks, haven't we? Paul Wood and his now famous ruptured testicle in the grand final. And that kind of thing isn't necessarily a weekly occurrence, but certainly the big heavy hits are. And Jordan James is as tough as they come, the former Royal Marine who plays it as hard as anybody. So for him to look as he does at the moment suggests he has taken an absolute battering.
Let's hope he's all right. Looks a bit wobbly, doesn't he?
Information, by the way, that Thomas Bosk has been named the man of the match. Did you vote for him? You had a vote there, didn't
I did. Did you have a vote?
I had a vote as well, and I voted for Thomas Bosk. Perhaps we were the only 2 that voted. He's man of the match anyway. Oh, Owen, the floor manager, had a vote as well. He also voted for Thomas Bosk. Here's Dupont. This is Gigot. And dummy half. And again, this French crowd in terrific voice here. They've enjoyed what they've seen here this afternoon. I'm sure they will be back 12 months hence when the World Cup takes place on this field as well. The World Cup itself is actually in this stadium here today. Another glittering piece of silverware it is too. The French looking for a big finish. And again, they have Bosk for the most part. Here comes Bosk. That's Thierry. Look forward. They look very forward. And the referee eventually concurs. There's quite a few thousand off their seats at the moment celebrating what they thought was a try, but Richard Silverwood is a man to break French hearts by doing this.
I think so, right.
Well, I think even the PA announcer thought it was a try as well.
Yeah, it's definitely forward from Muniz. Just had a look at the line. It gives us our viewers a great opportunity to assess it for themselves, but look where he passes the ball and look where it ends up. I think he even had to give him that one a forward pass there.
It's an interesting phenomenon, isn't it? Sitting amongst a crowd who are not used to a particular sport. They're watching it for the most part for the very first time, and how they interpret what they see on the field.
Oh, just been one-way traffic, the physicality of the second half.
No misinterpretation of that effort by Muniz.
Sometimes a noise just suffices, doesn't it? Oh.
There's a real good feeling around the ground at the moment, isn't it? It's a Welsh side that will be learning an awful lot from this. was eventually put out of play. He's one of those young Wigan players. The Wigan club heavily involved in actively encouraging the growth of rugby league in South Wales in particular. They're involved with the South Wales Scorpions, a partner club, if you like. And a lot of those South Wales players now have this pathway through to the Wigan squad, don't they? And 4 of them on the field here today.
Really, really encouraging, isn't it? Rugby league's still alive and well in Wales, and players are getting the opportunity to play. It's been a tough second half, hasn't it? Rather than a flary, flamboyant second half, it's been tough, and the French have shown their tough side, and have probably executed it. We've only had the 1 score from a penalty.
Here's Bosc again. We might get another here. Bosc with a kick. He's flying down that left-hand side. Clément Soubeyras. But has he grounded the ball? Well, Thomas Bosc could see the potential. The question is, has Clément Soubeyras delivered it?
Did Craig Moss get across and stop him putting the ball down? Because he clearly gets to the ball. It's a great pick-up on the fly. Great pick-up. He's still moving. So if he gets this down, it's a score. Craig Moss has held him up. He's done a great job there, hasn't he? A little bit of help, I think, as well from Massam, is it? Yeah.
Well, fantastic play all round, wasn't it? Good kick, terrific pick-up, but the defence impeccable.
Pinpoint accuracy again from Thomas Bosc, the boot of Thomas Bosc, wasn't it?
I might be just going back to that to see if there was an offside in the build-up to decide whether this should be the ball played back or a penalty, and it is the former. French will play the ball 10 metres out. That's the rule these days. If you hold up behind the line, you simply go back 10 metres and start again. That's a penalty. That's an easy penalty to give, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't a hard one.
Such a late challenge. Bosc. Maria. 10 metres away. Dupont at dummy half. Here's Bosc again. This now is Muniz. Pelissier is the man at dummy half. Long pass that's forward by Matthias Parler.
I don't think the French would be too pleased about the execution side of their attack today. You know, they certainly will be pleased with the defence in the second. As we said, only 2 points in the second half. You'd have expected a heck of a lot more. And let's give some credit to the Welsh as well. They've hung in there, they've dug in there. They too haven't quite found the answers with the ball, have they, to look dangerous. But certainly some tough play going on out there.
So Richard Silverwood, the referee, wearing his Rugby League Cares shirt today, the new Rugby League charity that's been set up over the last month or so. All the officials wearing the Rugby League Cares emblem, as they will throughout this international series. And Wales with 90 seconds to try and get something else out of this game, along with the great deal of pride they'll have got from the mighty defensive effort they put up at times. Seamark. Quickly away by Evans, but no way forward. Channing caught in possession the moment he got the ball. Oh, and it's dropped again by Seamark. Well, hand to his head, he knows he's made a mistake that puts his side under an awful lot of pressure. And with a minute left to play, plenty of time for the French to prosper here.
Yeah, 1 set left in essence. They'd like to finish with a score, I'm sure, the French, but the Welsh have been doting their defence, and I'm sure they don't want to let them in, obviously.
Well, the bespectacled even Aurélien Coulommiers, the standing coach at the moment. Whether he gets the gig full-time or not depends on the directors of the Welsh, rather the French Rugby League, who have yet to be reappointed. So if he's successful in this series, he'll certainly do his job prospects no harm. Here's Dupont. This is Pelissier.
Oh.
Thierry is not
It's been the story of the second half for both teams, hasn't it?
Oh, that's good hands. That's good hands. And here's a chance now for Fleming. He's not been stopped yet, Fleming, and he's done well to get it away. Here comes Evans. Two young players who are very much at the heart of this Welsh side over the next few years, helping them inside their opponent's half in these late stages. It's Fleming again. Budworth. Kopczak. Budworth. Jones. Here's Evans. It'll be the last play of the game. Ben Evans pulled down. And this crowd, this is heartening. Absolutely heartening. Virginal Rugby League territory. As we keep saying, the vast majority in here have never seen a game of rugby league. And to a man, woman and child, they all seem to be on their feet, offering their applause to a French side who have delivered the goods this afternoon. The French had to come from behind. A wonderful start by Wales in the opening 2 minutes, David James. But those 3 tries just before half-time, inspired and engineered by Thomas Bosc, keeping the French very much on top. But a lot to learn and a lot to be grateful for from both sides, Brian Noble.
Well, it was a really heavy game, if that's the right expression. It was a quick, physical game, and the French were the winners in the end.
Let's hear from one of those who's taken part. Olivia Alima is speaking downstairs with Tanya.
Olivia, congratulations. They gave you quite a workout out there, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Wales had a big, strong pack, so we knew we were coming down the middle. And it took us about 10-15 minutes to get into the game. And once we got into the game, we knew we had plenty of occasions. Sometimes they didn't go through. But, you know, as the game went on, last 5-10 minutes, we scored 3 tries, and we knew we could do better in the second half. Still plenty of errors, but we're really happy about the game. Wales were really confident in the papers, making strong comments about, you know, not being afraid, coming in France and playing us. So, you know, we didn't say much, but we knew that it was going to be a hard game, and, you know, we showed in defence that it was very hard, just 1 try.
You must be very pleased with your defence.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, plenty of comments, you know, we've been using those comments in the changing room, and we came out firing, you know. They scored the first try, we could have gone down, but we kept working hard in defence, and that worked really well. And plenty of things worked really well, and we came out with a win today. We're really pleased with that.
Were you a little disappointed not to score more tries in that second half?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even in the first half, you know, few forward pass, you know, the decision, you know, we just little things we could have done better, and the score would have been double today.
And presumably having 80 minutes out there together, you will build on that. You've got a couple of weeks now to work on those side of things.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got England coming in 2 weeks. Wales got them next week, so we're going to have a look at that, the game. We know it's going to be a stronger squad, but we're pretty pleased with what we've done today, and we're going to build on that.
Many congratulations, Olivier. Let's bring in your counterpart, the Welsh captain, Craig Kopczak. Craig, that was a physical battle out there, wasn't it, for you guys?
Certainly was, yeah. We saw a lot of characters out there today, and I thought we really battled hard, and we had a lot of pride in our shirts tonight, and we knew it was going to be a real tough game coming to France, and obviously the result says it all, really. Just a bit disappointing back end of the first half, where we just give them up too much possession. Just a little bit too much tackling we had to do, and obviously they scored tries back of it.
Was it fatigue creeping in, do you think, at the end of that first half?
Oh, definitely. I mean, obviously, if you're defending on your line for a couple of sets on the trot, it's going to take it out of you somewhere in the game, and I think that's what it did in the end, yeah.
How pleased, though, to just the 1 penalty, just 2 points in that second half they scored against you?
Yeah, that's the pleasing thing about it, really. We came out in the second half, and I thought we put a real pride in our shirts.
You've got England next week. What will you be working on ahead of that one?
Well, I think we'll be working on our defence and trying to keep hold of the ball. Obviously, a few penalties and a few knock-on, a few errors. So hopefully we can rectify that and put it right next week.
And quite an experience for some of the younger players in the squad, wasn't it, this?
Oh, it's fantastic for them. Obviously, a massive occasion here. Obviously, they've got the experience now, so we could take that into England, hopefully.
And just quickly on your own situation, are you close to resolving your future and where you're going to be playing next year?
Hopefully soon, yeah. Hopefully I'll be sorted soon, yeah.
Congratulations today, Craig. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Craig Kopczak talking to Tanya. So confirmation, France 20, Wales 6. It was France on top of the table. Wales-England is next Saturday. You'll be able to see that with us on BBC One. And England-France the following Saturday, again on BBC One. Both getting underway 2:30.